Hello and welcome to Math 141, Introduction to Statistics. My name is Matt Lathrop. I'll be your instructor this semester. In this initial video, I just want to give you a little bit of an orientation to the course, where you can find some key pieces of information, and then walk through the syllabus and discuss some of the course expectations. What you're looking at right now is the announcements page. This is the page you'll see every time you log into our MyLabs Plus course. You'll see any new announcements that are listed, which I would encourage you to check and read those. As well as over on the right hand side, you're going to see some different boxes that indicate your overall results in the course. So right now I've got a 0% in the course because I haven't completed any assignments, but as soon as you start completing assignments, you'll see these different categories start to fill in. So every time you log in and access the course, you'll get a quick snapshot of where you're standing, how you're performing overall in the course. On the Start Here tab, you'll see the video that you're watching right now, as well as a second video about how to navigate this course, so how to move through the individual modules from week to week, information on how to get help with this course, which would include contacting me, visiting the math tutors, other different resources built into the course. And there's a video on campus safety, which I would recommend you check out as well. So after you've watched through some of that information, you'll also want to take a more thorough look at the syllabus. We're going to hit some of the highlights here, but you are responsible for knowing all of the information provided in the syllabus. And again, it just sets the expectations for what we're going to be doing this semester. This is going to start off with some of my contact information, which includes phone number, office hours, email address, and my office. You're absolutely welcome to stop by my office during office hours at any time if you have questions. Also welcome to give me a call on my office phone. But if you're not able to stop in person, I would encourage you to use email as the best way to get a hold of me. I try to respond to emails very quickly, but at least within 24 hours. Keep in mind that over the weekend it might take me a little longer to get back to you, but I do try to make sure I'm getting quick responses out to email so that when you're stuck on something, confused about something, or just have a general question, you're getting some feedback as soon as you can to help you move on. I'm going to leave some of this information for you to take a look at, but again, we're just going to hit some highlights. In terms of required materials, the only thing that you need to purchase is an online access code for MyLabs Plus. If you haven't already purchased that, you'll be prompted to do so whenever you start accessing assignments for this course, or you can head to Heartland's bookstore and buy a cardboard code with a code number on there that you'll be able to enter once you start working the assignments. So you can either purchase that through the bookstore, or you'll be prompted to purchase that online directly through the homework system once you access that first assignment. You'll also get access to StatCrunch, which is some statistical software. That's going to be included as part of that MyLabs Plus access code. And then you do have the option of buying a physical textbook if you want, but MyLabs Plus is going to include an electronic textbook. So the only reason to buy a physical textbook is if you would prefer to read an actual physical textbook versus reading the electronic book on your computer, tablet, or whatever. So again, skipping through some of this information, just to hit some of the highlights, but you'll want to come back and make sure you take a look at some of that. So this is going to be a very technology-heavy course. Since it's an online course, that should be expected. But many of our assignments are going to be completed through MyLabs Plus. You're going to want to make sure, since this is such a technology-heavy course, that you have consistent access to a computer, to an internet-ready device. If you're having issues with internet at home, keep in mind that you can always use any of the computers in Heartland's library. And you also just want to make sure you've got a backup plan in mind in case you temporarily lose internet access. So if you have an internet-enabled device, but the internet goes down because of a storm, you want to make sure you've got a backup plan to go to a friend's house, family member's house, coffee shop, come into Heartland's library. Malfunctioning technology, lack of access to internet, most likely won't be considered an acceptable excuse for late submissions. So just make sure you have a backup plan in mind there. Your attendance is going to be very important in this course. Of course, for an online course, attendance doesn't mean physically showing up for class. It's going to mean participating in discussions, working on assignments, reading the e-text, watching lecture videos. So every module we cover is going to have a discussion, which will either be an individual discussion or a group-based discussion, where I'll pair you with classmates and you'll have to work together to craft a response to post into that discussion board. We'll have some specific information week to week on what's going to be required for those, but just keep in mind that's going to be an important component of this course, especially because those discussions are going to prepare you for our take-home exams, which are going to be more written essay-based exams. There is a midterm withdrawal policy for this course, so hopefully this doesn't end up applying to any of you, but if any of these conditions are met, at midterm you will be withdrawn from this course. So if you haven't accessed the course for 2 weeks without notifying me, if you failed to fully participate in more than 2 discussions, or if you've completed less than 60% of the assignments due by midterm, then you will be withdrawn at midterm. Through MyLabs Plus, you can be completing homework and quizzes. For homework assignments, you have an unlimited number of attempts up until the due date to complete all of those questions and get 100% on that assignment. So if you get something wrong, try the exercise again, you'll start it over, and you can still get full credit. Once the due date has passed, you can still earn up to 90% on past due assignments. So you will see a 10% deduction on your overall score. So what that means is you should be able to get at least a 90% on every assignment, hopefully 100%, which will help to make sure that you're understanding the content and just give your grade a nice boost overall for the semester. Quizzes will also be completed online from home. You'll initially just get 1 attempt at each quiz, but if you've earned at least a 95% on all the homework assignments for that module, you'll be able to open up a second attempt. There will be practice quizzes available, so you get up to 2 attempts on that quiz, depending on your homework scores. But quizzes have to be completed by the deadline, or else you'll receive a 0. There aren't any extensions or late submissions for quizzes. There will be 4 regular exams in this course. Each of those exams are going to be divided into 2 parts, a proctored portion and a take-home essay-based portion. Proctored portion will be very similar to the questions you've seen on homework and quizzes, and this proctored portion you'll have to take at one of Heartland's testing centers. The take-home exam can be taken at home, and it'll be a much more written essay-based test where you're given some statistical information, asked to complete an analysis, provide those results, and then also provide a written interpretation for what those results mean, what decisions we can make based off those, etc. There will also be a cumulative final exam, which you must take in order to receive a passing grade in the course. The final exam will be very similar to the proctored exams in the sense that they're patterned off the homework and quizzes. This will have to be taken in one of the testing centers, and there is no take-home component for the final exam. There's just that proctored portion. You'll also have a couple of opportunities to improve a low exam score, since those also have to be completed by the deadline, or you'll receive a 0. So if you happen to miss an exam or have an exam you just don't do as well on as you would like, you'll get 2 chances to make up for that. One will be an optional take-home exam. So towards the end of the semester, there's going to be an optional exam 5, which will be an additional written exam. If you're content with your previous scores on those take-home exams, you don't have to worry about this assignment, but it gives you the opportunity to boost a low grade if you have one. And then your score on the final exam can also be used to replace your lowest score on a proctored exam. So the final exam makes up 20% of your overall grade, but your percentage can also be used to replace a lower exam score, and in each of those cases, those replacements will only happen if it benefits you. So we've got release dates listed for each of the exams, as well as the breakdown of the grading structure for the course. So those weekly discussions that happen with each module make up 10% of your grade, so do homework and quizzes. So by participating in those discussions and completing those fully, along with completing your homework, doing well on quizzes, that's going to make up 30% of your overall grade. I stack that a little higher because I want to encourage you to make use of those assignments, do your best on those. If you do well on those, you're very likely to do well on the exams, do well on the final, so the other 70% of your grade should be accessible. So make sure you're completing those weekly assignments. Those are going to prepare you for the exams. And then you've got the grading breakdown for A, B, C, D, F in this course. There are a couple of important dates to keep in mind. Martin Luther King Day, when the college will be closed. January 25th will be the last day to drop this course with a refund. So you do have the first 2 weeks to try out the course if there's something you don't like, or if you just feel like maybe an online course isn't the best fit for you. You do have the opportunity to drop within those first 2 weeks. Hopefully that won't be the case, and I'll be seeing you all through to the end of the semester. Spring break is March 7th through 12th, and then April 8th would be the last day to withdraw. The FERPA statement is just stating that under federal guidelines, I can only communicate with you about your progress in this course. So that means if you are emailing me, you want to make sure those emails either come from your official Heartland email or through our MyLabs Plus course. If you email me from a separate email account, I won't be able to reply. I can't discuss any information about your progress in the course because basically I have to be able to confirm that I'm communicating that information with the right person. So just make sure you're using MyLabs Plus or your Heartland email to contact me. And then what we have is our weekly schedule for this semester. What you'll see just glancing at it is that we typically follow a pattern of covering 2 weeks of content and then taking an exam over that material. So cover another 2 weeks of content and then we hit exam 2. We break up that pattern once we get to exam 4. We'll actually have 3 weeks of content that are covered on that 4th exam, but for the most part, 2 weeks of content and then an exam. Once we get down to the last week, of course, the 16th week, we'll mostly be reviewing for the final exam, but that's when that optional 5th exam will take place. And then the final exam is going to be due Wednesday, May 11th by midnight, or by the time the testing center closes. Beyond that, there's some general information that would be good for you to take a look at. Information on testing services, which you will be making use of this semester. Information on tutoring services, disability support services, that just depending on your needs, it's helpful to be aware of those. But if at any point during the semester you have any questions, please feel free to contact me by either stopping in my office or emailing me. I'm also going to be in touch with you via the announcements page and personal emails that I'll be sending out to you about once a week, just to update you on your progress in the course. So, good luck. Make sure you read through the information on the syllabus, on the Start Here page, the Getting Help page, before you start diving into the Module 1 assignments for the first week of class. Good luck.